What's up guys, Potatoes here, and today I want to talk to you about a new game called The Scouring. It's an RTS in the fantasy genre, and it's produced by Orc Group Game Studio. Today I'm going to be talking about the demo that's currently out that you can opt into if you are a Steam user, and they will be releasing a multiplayer patch on January 6th, so definitely looking forward to that. The game has a lot of familiar aspects, and the game has quite a few unique features that I have very high hopes for and I think may be very interesting if explored further. Before I get into some gameplay, let's take a look at the menus for the Scouring demo. Currently only single player is available. There are 3 maps, a small map, a medium-sized map, and an 8-player map. And you can only play against the AI using either human or orc. You can adjust teams so you can team up with the AI, or you can do a free-for-all. I've mostly been doing free-for-alls. I'm going to try a few AI team matches here in the next few days over Christmas. If you're interested in checking that out, you can check out my Twitch, which is has a link down in the description section. In-game there are quite a few interesting things, but here we can see one of the most interesting aspects is the AI assistant. You can play a pretty standard game with the economy microcontrol, or you can turn on the AI assistant and it will do a lot of the legwork for you. Alright, let's talk about some gameplay. The game begins with a town hall and requires you to gather a couple resources, gold and lumber, as well as requires you to manage the food supply for your army. Similar to Age of Empires, buildings can be sped along by getting multiple workers on them. Scattered across the landscape are towers that are first held by neutral creeps, and you can use your footmen here to take the tower. The footmen are the only ones that can engage with and climb the tower, as well as pull it over to your side. You may also notice that each of the footmen has a potion which you can purchase when you are standing near your town hall. They can hold up to 2 and they can drink them in combat. This is a fairly interesting design choice as it allows for a little bit of extra microcontrol early on in the game. It also rewards the player for going out on the map, engaging in a little bit of combat, and then retreating home in order to gather more potions. As night falls, the game takes on a completely different feeling as skeletons and zombies are spawned out of the abyss. You are forced to retreat back to your base and make sure that your units are holed up in a tower or many of the other buildings which can be garrisoned. You may choose to attack during this time, but it is very advisable to just pull back within your town's walls and defend yourself from the attackers. Each of the skeleton or zombie kills also gives you a little bit of gold, allowing you to gain some extra resources during the night phase. As dawn breaks, you can get back out on the map without fear of zombie attacks and kill some creeps as you look for your next expansion. Here the computer chose to attack me in the night, but they were quickly pushed back by one of the strongest garrisonable units currently in the game, and that is the cannon. Although when it is out on the field it is somewhat clunky, if it is in a barracks or tower, it is a force. After some back and forth in my war against the orcish hordes, the map was split into 2. One thing to note is that you can actually see as gold segments are reduced on the map. In a free-for-all multiplayer situation, this will allow for the player to know exactly where they need to be focusing their attention in order to get their hands on those final resources left on the map. After a long battle of attrition, I was able to gather enough forces across the river to make my final push against the AI and claim victory. This next match is an 8-player free-for-all on the largest map, and I'm playing as the orcs with the AI assist turned on. This makes the gameplay very different from your typical RTS. For one thing, when you start the game, you can actually get up and maybe take a quick bathroom break while you wait for your city to be built. You can strategize on how you want to move around the map and which areas you want to fortify, while the computer kind of takes care of all of the grunt work. One way to distinguish between units that you're controlling and ones that you're allowing the computer to control is by putting units into the control group 0. That's indicated by the little person silhouette bust icon over each of these units. The AI will not touch these, and you will have full control over these units to do anything you wish. Because the nighttime creeps can come out of basically anywhere there's forest, one thing the computer AI is great at is defending your town while you might be doing something else, maybe planning an attack, and then they can run their patrol of grunts around the exterior of your base, especially early on, in order to defend against those nighttime creeps. One thing the computer is amazing at is spending down all your resources, so in order to take control back, if you attempt to build something that requires more gold or lumber than you have, it will lock up resources for a period of time, allowing you to accumulate what you need to build that structure. This is indicated by the gold and lumber changing from a colorful icon to the locking countdown icon. When using the AI, instead of spending a lot of time micromanaging all of my different resources, I often found myself fighting with the AI in order to keep them from what I considered throwing away units. Often they would send a peon out to go build something in a strange place, or they'd send a small contingency of units to go fight multiple enemies, and so I found myself struggling to kind of rein the computer in as it attempted to, what I thought, spread itself too thin. A few closing thoughts for this demo. There's no denying that a lot of the art assets are lifted straight out of Warcraft 2. I am no intellectual property expert, so I will let them figure out how that's going to work out. But I am absolutely in love with a ton of the features. First of all, it felt awesome. It's been a very long time since any sort of RTS just felt good. The units being garrisoned, and a bunch of would-be attackers being caught in my kill box, mowed down by cannon fire. The game itself looks fantastic. I like the models. It's very cartoony and somewhat simplistic, but it feels great to play. It has so many familiar aspects that I have come to love from the RTS genre, and they've added these twists that I have a ton of hope for. The nighttime creeps, turning it into almost a survival game where I'm hoping every person in a game feels like going out with an army is a very dangerous thing to do, and you kind of need to hold back and figure out what your next move is going to be. It adds a lot of variety to each individual game. And the AI, it almost makes me feel like when AI started playing chess, it ended up beating a few of the masters, and then they figured out that actually the combination of AI with a human player was even better than an individual human or just an AI. So it's kind of the marriage between the strategy and the overarching tactics that the player brings, along with a lot of the control and micromanagement that the computer brings. A few things that I see possibly becoming a problem. One of the things I love the most about the game is the massive defender's advantage. You get gold from killing creeps, as well as you get gold even from killing enemy players' units. So I can see possibly when a meta develops, a lot of games turning into just this split map battle of attrition. Maybe games get really long and drawn out and possibly boring. I do like there being a massive defender's advantage, but I am scared that if it's too great, it may negatively impact the game. Another issue that I think is kind of smaller, but may need to be adjusted, is the amount of gold that the nighttime creeps give you. Although I do like that they give you a little bit of gold, I think the main income source needs to be gold veins and not killing other players' units or killing creeps at night. I can't wait to play the multiplayer when it comes out on January 6th, and I hope to see you there.